Hey y'all. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. You know, I am perfect. Yeah. And actually, you are too. When I came to this conclusion, there was a slight uneasiness and even at the same time, actually a familiarity, a comfort. I heard it in a meditation or while I was doing something, probably driving, which is when messages usually come to me. And it didn't make sense at first, especially considering how people view being perfect, right? So, what did I do? I asked to show me how. And this is when, over time, the gates just swung open. The light shone with info, awareness of synchro destinies, people, they just came in, right? And what happened was, as I've been practicing as a doctor of Oriental medicine, working with women with harmonizing their hormones, things stuck out. And something in particular, very much so, stuck out. And it was what it was that she was saying. It's what they would say about their symptoms, about themselves. And they could be saying it even jokingly. And at the same time, those statements rang true for them. Things like, I'm a work in progress. Oh, I got to fix XYZ. I'm going to get it together. Nobody's perfect, right? Any of those sound familiar to you? And some of these I even said until I realized, right? This is what I heard though. I heard that she believed that she was broken, and I heard that she believed that she was in need of repair. And then this is what I saw, right? My eyes are closed even when I said I saw. It's because I saw through here was this image of a giraffe's pattern. Yes, it's a beautiful pattern. And it's this pattern with these splotches, with these patches, right? And the thing is, though, in between those splotches and those patches are all of these rivers, there's all of these valleys, all of these openings, all of these spaces, right? That are all there. But what did it mean? Those valleys and those rivers and those openings were also spaces of which it is that she was also going to be seeking to fill them to feel whole. So then what would happen is she opened herself even unconsciously to bringing in others, to bringing in activities, whatever it is that were distractions that would actually fill her, to fill in those spaces, to fill in those gaps, right? To feel whole, to come together. Because our innate nature is to be whole, is to feel whole, right? So while she felt like her needing to get it together was true for her, I'm going to tell you the truth. And yes, there's a difference. You are already whole and complete right here and right now. You are perfect. The root meaning of perfect is actually whole and complete. It's oftentimes mistaken that perfect means flawless, and that is not the case. It really is that whole and complete. And so I would like to imagine a diamond, right? Yeah, sure, everybody, the cliche, it's the pressure that creates it, right? There's more though. There's more to that story. The markings are also a part of that diamond and the story. That those markings are their story. The clarity is the story, right? It wouldn't even be that diamond without it, without those markings. Notice I didn't even call them flaws, right? They're simply markings. It personalized it. And you know what else? As light is shown through a diamond, those reflections that you see, right, as it points out of it, those are all literally cascading up on a wall outside of it. It's its personal imprint. So not only is it that it's a reflection of its journey up until that moment that it was harvested, right? It's also showing infinite trajectory outside of it through that journey. And that is what I see as you. What you see as flaws are actually part of you and your experience, that as your light shines through you, it has your imprint and is a beacon of light to others. So just as the diamond's markings are showing you how it came into form, what you observe as patterns, behaviors, symptoms are really seen as in response to what's going on around you and within you. Your physical body is literally built in response. And this is why I love working with and understanding hormones. They're like the master communicators, right? And the body. Their role is simply to, this is me saying simply, but it's a very complicated process, right? Their role is simply to assess the environment inside and outside, then send the messages of what to do to everyone else. Those symptoms are messages. But what are those messages, right? The messages are actually offering insight. And that insight is actually coming from your soul. That is your perfect, authentic self. It's who you really are. And those symptoms and the conditions, they're actually invitations for you to begin to come in, listen, and to interpret. This is what I would see with women. This is what really changed it for me in the practice. It was this beautiful interpretation, a process, an unfolding of what her authentic self is asking her to be. So all along from training and whatnot, and it's not even to say that it was wrong, I had to go through that process. So here it is that all along I'm thinking, let's correct the symptoms. Let's see what's happening and let's correct it, right? If there's a deficiency, we want to replete it. Like if there's excess, we want to reduce it. And oh, we got it. We're going to use this herb and all of this, right? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a second. I went into this medicine because this medicine is beautifully seeing people as a whole person, seeing the impact of their life, like all these various aspects of their life and how it's showing up now into what I'm seeing and assessing on the physical form, the mental and emotional form, the spiritual form, right? And so when I realized like, oh, that's not even what I was doing, right? Because like I said, I'm trying to correct the symptoms. I'm going, that's the same thing as Western medicine. And then as I evolved through the practice and I realized like, it's not even that. It's really about seeing those symptoms as messages of the presentation or lack of the authentic self. Is there alignment or not with the authentic self? We needed to become aware and accept and appreciate her totality. Use those strengths. Become aware of what could be lurking in the shadows. For those are the messages and the guiding posts as well. So now you can see that your journey has changed course, right? Because by now you're seeing that you are perfect. You're perfect right here, right now. And when you realize that you're whole and complete, you're actually plugging yourself into source, source being you, which is also a reflection of the greater source. So imagine the mega power that comes from that. I mean, that's like a huge, huge power company, everything, it's all yours, right? And just imagine what could you light up in the world when the light is actually recirculating, like that power is recirculating within versus it leaking out. versus all of these other things plugging itself into you that you're trying to get some power from outside, when really it's all within. It's just taking that time and learning and becoming aware, using those symptoms, using those conditions of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual as those guiding posts for you to plug back into source, for you to resource. Intentionally said that way, right? It's embracing all aspects of you. Now reimagine for a moment and open up to the messages of those symptoms and conditions that may be present for you. We might dissociate from the body, right? We praise this mindfulness, which is once again only going in the mind. It's still taking you away from the body. Many of us have experienced some type of experience, traumatic experience to the body, where we began to dissociate. If it wasn't through you directly, it may have even been through your lineage. And so now I'm asking you, though, to come into a place where you do feel safe and you feel comfortable, at least in an environment that offers that can guide you into coming into the body, so that then you can foster a different type of relationship with those symptoms and conditions, asking for their guidance and their insight into your soul's journey. They're your great allies to you being your perfect, authentic self. And along that journey, as this journey is now shifted for you during our short time together, thank you very much. Remember that this is a journey, it's not a destination. And your perfect, authentic self is actually a verb, it's a being, not a noun. And then, just like I had mentioned with the environments, like you are literally a reflection of environments. You're responding to that, right? All the time. Be in those environments that honor and fosters your perfect, authentic self. And one of my favorites is that you definitely want to play with it, right? Not only play in the sense of engaging in activity for recreation, which, side note, recreation, I said that on purpose, because that's exactly what it is that you are. You are an infinite creator, all right? But you also want to play as an acronym, tapping into the potential and learning about yourself, as you realize that serious healing ain't gotta be so serious. So if you're keen to playing in spaces and environments that do just that, exploring the perfect authentic self through the lens of the symptoms or conditions as your guiding messages while you're playing, then choose your adventure by clicking on the link in the chat to see what your personal journey could be like. So right here, right now, I invite you to tap into that gallbladder channel of courage, which is really cool because that's exactly what you tap into when you put those hands on your hips. You're engaging courage for yourself. So put those hands on the hips. It is allowed and welcome right now. And you stand strongly and just feel immensely as you say with me, I am whole. I am complete. I am perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Denicia Hilton Harper, Doctor of Oriental Medicine, Holistic Wellbeing Consultant. I appreciate you for sharing space with me and allowing me to guide you and welcome you to your perfect, authentic self.
Ashe, Denicia, I could listen to you talk all day long. Your voice is so soothing.
Thank you.
Hello, Mama. How are
Hey.
you?
Good. Yes.
Okay.
Doing
Oh,
good.
I could listen to you all day. Thank you for not only being on the stage with us and sharing all of this information, but for closing us out in such a affirming and soothing way on day 4. This has
Yes.
been so beautiful. Yeah, Raven said in the chat. Yeah, her voice is so calming.
Oh,
Ashe.
thanks,
So
Raven.
please, if you have any questions at all, definitely drop them in the chat box. I will show them on the stage so that Denicia can answer them. If you want to come on the stage and say anything audibly to her, you absolutely can. Just hit the hand button and I'll bring you up. The hand button is under our videos, right on the screen right now. As they're queuing that up, Denicia, how did you get involved with Oriental medicine?
So actually, I only was familiar with Western medicine, and I
Yeah.
actually wanted to practice neonatology. And then
Mhm.
something happened and was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And then I didn't. Um, but I had a moment when I was working at a campus here, and it was like, it's time. Like I was in the middle of a cadaver lab, literally on a tour, and it was like, it's time. I heard it. Like, you got to go back into
Sure.
medicine. So I was speaking with a sorority sister, and it was actually her that introduced Eastern medicine to me. And she was just like, if there's another way you could treat patients, would you be interested? And I was like, there's another way? Like, I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
And so she's like, yeah, it's acupuncture. And I was like, yeah, girl, I don't like needles. And so um, but we chatted a little bit more, and then I went and did some research, and I just fell in love with the philosophy. I fell in love with the way that it is that as a practitioner that you see people, like,
yeah,
to see the influence of their life and how it's playing a role into what we see today,
yeah,
and then with that information, what do you do?
yeah,
How is it that we can position someone to be able to literally activate and move in alignment with our own healing capacities?
yeah,
So all of that is what like sold me on it, and it's
yeah.
just been since then.
That's great. Kudos to your friend. Yeah, sometimes people see things in us that we don't want to see in ourselves. So I'm so happy you are in this space. We have a question from Yvonne, and she says, "Can she just adopt me?" I know, like it's so safe in your voice. ah,
Oh, your
um,
mom is like, come on, bring it in.
I
It's a big
say.
virtual air meet group hug. Like,
I say, Anika said nope. I'm like, keep her talking, Casey. They just, yeah, I'm with. This is a good end to the day. It's just like you are so soothing, and just hearing you saying, "You are perfect." Like,
yes,
uh,
yes, you
okay,
are.
we do have a question from Winnie Quick. She says, "Do you have a podcast? Your voice is so Your voice is so soothing."
Okay, so actually, I do. And because y'all are saying this, I'm like, man, doggone it. Spirit is moving through these people because I've been sitting
Mhm.
on it with new episodes. So you can actually go and find it, and then you can listen to that first season. Because of this, thank you, Casey, for activating this, and everyone else who's here. I will go ahead and make sure I move that to the top of my list to get season 2, because I've been outlining it and season 3 for the longest. I just haven't actually recorded it. But it is actually called I Am Perfect podcast. So you can find it on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes. You can actually download the Perfect Playground app, and it's in Google Play and in Apple stores. And there's
So,
actually one, you'll see it when you go in there and you log in, and it'll actually say, listen here for the podcast. So what we did was we transferred the episodes over into there. So that way, even when the new one comes out, I can automatically send notifications of saying, hey, season 2's here, take a listen. So yeah, you can find it there.
Yeah, we get to listen to her. We get to binge listen to her voice. I love it. Awesome. Okay. We have another question, Mama. This one is from Paquita. She says, Western medicine has so many disparities. Do you find similar themes existing in Eastern medicine?
Okay, so when you're talking about disparities, you're talking about as far as like providers and diversity or in access or even with on the patient side. I'm not quite sure. So I'm gonna go wing it right now with what initially came to me. So you can see it definitely in Eastern medicine, especially when it comes to practitioners. I will say though, here's a little story too. I actually had someone tell me when I first started, and I'm like trying to build patient base and everything, you don't look like a doctor of Oriental medicine. And I was like, and what's that supposed to look like? I mean, I was like, what in the world? But I will say that there has been an increase of diversity when it comes to providers. I know that that's very important for many people, especially when it is they may be coming in talking about something that could be extremely sensitive, especially as the medicine's very great at treating trauma in a way that you don't necessarily have to talk it out, where you have to relive it or anything. And that actually was one of my first experiences where I realized, like, oh my gosh, I am totally past this and didn't have to talk about it. But the medicine moved through the herbs and moved through the body in that way. So you'll find that there's that diversity there. And then on the patient side, I do see a mix, like, because there's some overlap. So you'll have some practices within Eastern medicine that you might find, especially as I started exploring more, especially like into IFA and whatnot, because I like exploring the variety because I want to see just where it is that we all intersect, where it is that we're all actually talking about the same thing. We're just talking about it through different lenses. So I see overlaps in so many different ways. I will say that when it comes to disparities as far as access goes, oftentimes acupuncture itself is not covered by insurance. So I do want to let people know this. Even if it is covered by insurance, there's a behind the scenes thing that only certain things that can be coded can approve it to be covered by insurance. So what you find is then that people are like, well, it seems like it's more out of discretionary income that people can actually access Eastern medicine. And I will say that there's going to be a gamut. So you could literally see people who are doing sliding scale privately, or they're doing community acupuncture, and there's actually a community acupuncture website and everything. There's even acupuncturists without borders that will go and do acupuncture for big trauma cases and things like that, all the way to where it could be like $150, $200, that kind of thing. So when I hear disparities, I think about so many different aspects, and I know that financially there is that issue that's there. So you can actually look at it like that. There's also, when you think about access location, so I'll let you know it's state by state as far as what someone's licensed, what they're able to do in their state. So sometimes you'll find congregations, right? Like I would love, as much as I would love, my family's from Mississippi. And so whenever I go visit, how much it is I know that this type of medicine could do there. But when you look at the state laws and being able to practice, it's like you got to jump through a lot of hoops, and then it's still under an MD's thing unless it goes periodically. I'll go back and check. But when you do that, it kind of sets you up to possibly continuing to perpetuate what the disparities are, right? Like if you do it that way. But like in Florida, we have a lot more that we're able to do. California, same thing. So you want to kind of look and see exactly where you're at. And at the same time, I do want to say, because you are finding some other ones that are practicing more telehealth, because they're using elements of the medicine trust and believe that acupuncture is only one modality within a huge breadth of the medicine. This is why it is that I transitioned out of just needling. I had a teacher tell me anything that moves the chi is a needle. So simply by you listening and talking like me, and you're listening to me, it's changing things. It's changing the way that the chi is actually moving, the way that your mind thinks and all of that. Right. So I say this so that you can expand in the way that you think about it, and then how it is that you want to kind of go about doing it. And going about it. And I'm totally open to if there's any particular questions that people might have about certain conditions and whatnot, that you might want some insight on who it is that you're looking for, then like totally hit me up and let me know, because I'm down for that.
Oh, they have it. It's the next question. Wait, did I put the wrong one up? Where'd it go? Sorry, they're voting on this stuff, so it's moving in order. Let me try to find it again. Oh. Okay. How does Eastern medicine treat perimenopause/menopause differently from Western medicine? Love this question.
I actually really love this question too. So Eastern medicine, big differences. Eastern medicine, we actually look at while you're menstruating. That actually gives us some insight into the transition into menopause. So all of the things that you may have learned and accepted as like, oh, it's okay to cramp, it's okay with the heavy bleeding, like we'll just give you some like birth control pills or something like that for that. I actually look at that as, we want to harmonize this now so that by the time it gets to menopause, the transition is easier. So when someone does come in talking about that they're in perimenopause or menopause, they're talking about their symptoms, I always ask, what were your cycles like when they were more consistent? Because that gives insight into the disharmonies. Western medicine does tend to look at symptom management a little bit more. Eastern medicine's looking at what are some of the underlying implications. Also in Eastern medicine, it is celebrated to go into menopause. That is huge difference. It's a huge difference, because there are also studies that are proving that women's perception of menopause and what happens during menopause actually is affected by their culture's belief of menopause. So if you're in this Western medicine, like anti-aging, kind of thing going on, like, oh, menopause is the devil kind of thing. Like the more and more you're around that can totally shift your experience. And this is not meaning like in a gaslighting kind of way. It can totally shift it. Another thing that you're seeing is that now you'll see like Western medicine is what they would usually do is find an herb, like some herb would have done an amazing job, and then they want to go into a lab, break it down into its constituents to find out what works, and then replicate it. So sometimes that works, but the thing is too is just that like it's within an herb for a reason. Like so the whole talk was the totality, the wholeness. Like there is a reason why all of those pieces are together, and that's why sometimes they'll find that if they were to single something out, oh, it wasn't as effective. Well, it's because it was working with these other elements. So you want to take a look at that. Those are big, huge differences, I want to say, when it comes to it. I will also say too that like you can change it. Like things can change. Just because this has already been your experience, it doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. It can change. And then you just want to be on the lookout if you're going to include herbs and supplements. I always encourage checking medication usage. And as much as it is that you might set yourself up for your doctor saying something like, I don't know why you're doing that, that stuff doesn't work, you still want to let them know if you are doing supplements or something like that, because it covers you in the sense that you disclose that you were taking those as they were also prescribing something else. Does that make sense? So you have these gates. It's at your doctor's office and at the pharmacy that technically they're supposed to be checking for counter interactions and things that may potentiate. So it's not just, oh, this will make something not work. It's actually some things will make things work better. like way more. So they may not catch it, but you want to cover yourself to just say, well, I disclosed it. This is what I'm taking and this is how much. So then that way they can also take a look at if there are any interactions there. And then sometimes some interactions that you perceive like are actually letting you know that whatever you might be prescribed is actually, they could lessen it. So that's another thing too, is that as your body's starting to acclimate to whatever changes that you're doing, the prescribed medications don't need to be as high, so they start to come down, slash some just come off. So you'll start to see that kind of going along, and just pay attention to yourself. Please get to know your body and your body's responses. Yeah.
You are just so dope. Literally, you have us all in a trance. Like, yeah, I can't even. It's like poignant in here, but it's not like in a bad way. It's just like so. We're so enthralled.
Oh.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
This is from Grace, and she says, "This was so amazing. Holistic healing, Reiki specifically, has been so helpful. Would you consider Reiki as Eastern medicine?"
So I will say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there is a form of Reiki, Usui, that's from Japan. So technically it is Eastern medicine. So when I say no, it's because when I think about like acupuncture, Oriental medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, when we think about the pillars that are involved in practicing the medicine, Reiki is not included in that. So, but that doesn't mean that it's not a medicine, if that makes sense. So that's why I say yes and no. But Reiki can be totally awesome. And if you find like that practitioner that's just amazing and you jive with, then totally go for it. I know that once again, I think about ways that we have access, right? Like some people think that you have to be around someone. But if you find someone who actually has that ability to do distance can work as well. So just in case if you're thinking like, oh, there isn't anyone that I could actually go to, you can do distance. A lot of my my work I actually do as a client, like they do work with me on distance. So I know that it's possible. It's just a matter of you kind of calling in that person that'd be for you.
Super dope. And just to circle back on Pakita's earlier question around disparities, she said all of it, yes. So you answered
Oh,
exactly in the way that she was
great.
hoping you would. And then one
Okay.
more comment to share. Tatiana has given a recommendation for your voice. She says ASMR and or affirmation videos. And there are a lot of hearts around that. So
Huh. I kind of
for
like
real,
that. Like,
I'm gonna just say too, because this ain't none of my business, but I'm gonna just say too, if you're thinking about it, especially ASMR, you can get on Alexa or Google Home for free. You can put your voice on there for free, and I think you should. Voice Flow, yeah, go to Voice Flow. Voice Flow will literally allow you to push your own apps for free to Alexa and Google Home, and I would listen to you all day. That could be a great way to market your business in a way that it doesn't seem like marketing because you are lit.
thanks. You know what's funny is I was looking in my email everywhere and I couldn't find it. I was like, I could have sworn I read a blog post of Casey's that talked about voiceovers. It was so like I feel like it was a part of a bigger blog post of like side something, or I have no idea. And I didn't
Maybe.
save it. And I was like, what? I can't find it. Because
Voice
I was thinking about it.
Flow. I think that's your intuition. I think this is a full circle moment. I think it was your intuition, sis. But
Yes.
yeah, if you decide to, I could wake up to you in the morning, sis. Beautiful,
Good
beautiful,
morning,
beautiful.
Casey.
Well, I appreciate this. We all do. You've definitely we've closed out every day thus far with journal sessions, like journal sessions to wind down. And this was the perfect end on day 4 with like we're standing on both feet, we're feeling centered, and then I don't even know what to call what you did, but you've awakened us. Yes, you've awakened us to the fact that we are perfect, we are whole, and that we don't have to do what we've been indoctrinated with. There are other options and natural ways to be more aligned and healthy. So thank you so much, sis. So much.
You're so welcome.
Super dope. Y'all definitely follow Denicia. Definitely go to blazevirtualsummit.com/freebies to get her freebies. Tomorrow is the last day. And a beautiful thing is, if y'all liked this, and this was a Blaze Talk, she's doing a workshop tomorrow. She's actually the last speaker session of the day tomorrow, right before we close out. Okay. So you will hear more of her. You will hear more from her tomorrow. So keep it locked. And that concludes day 4. We're really done. And again, today has been about big founding energy, not in a way that's stressful. Okay. We'll save that for the summer summit. Okay. But in a way that awakens you, right? And lets you know how much agency that you have, right? And to let you know it's okay not to listen to them people. You're not crazy. Somebody said in the chat, they always said they were loony because of how centered and grounded and close to the earth they were, right? You're not loony at all. You are awake. You are enlightened, right? And that's what this is about. Tomorrow, it's over, okay? Tomorrow, the summit ends. We actually have, for the first time ever, a headliner. I will not be closing up the summit like I typically do with the speaker session. We actually have a headliner who is going to take us there. I'm so excited about it. And we have a different DJ tomorrow. The headliner is Ohavia Phillips. She is incredible. She is in Charlotte. She is the in-house arena host for the Charlotte Hornets, as a matter of fact. Okay. And we have a DJ set that closes out the end of the day from Charlotte, a DJ from Charlotte. Her name is DJ Fannie Mae. She's super cold. Okay. So tomorrow will be a celebration of everything that we've experienced. We will still have sessions. Okay. We will still learn and be edified, but tomorrow is the end. So I thank you for rocking with us. I appreciate you all so much for everything that you have poured into this day. Be sure you have time tomorrow, but be sure if you have anything you want to share and leave, right? Be sure to submit a testimonial. Okay, it's in the feed. It's in the feed. The link is in the feed. I will make sure to pin it so that everybody can access it pretty easily. It'll be up tomorrow too. I just pinned it. Okay, it's at the top of the feed, but you click that link and you will literally be able to leave a video testimonial, right? Of what this experience has been like for you. Okay. PG said, well, you should give us our closing song now then. I gave it already. I think I gave it on Tuesday. Who was in here? Del PG. Didn't I sing Cranes in the Sky? I really did. I really did. It might have even been Monday. I don't know. But I did. It's on somebody's replay somewhere. I appreciate y'all. No, I did, PG. Neff knows. Neff heard me singing it. But be sure you go by the booths in the Black Market. They will continue to be there today. They will be there tomorrow as well. Then after this, the summit area closes, okay? I'm gonna close us out. I'm literally gonna close us out after this, okay? I'm gonna just sing us out for PG because I can't say no to her, but I'm gonna do like a church benediction. I hope I get these words right because it's been a long time. It's something like may his peace be with you till we meet again. May his peace be with you till we meet again. Till we reach that promised land. And we're walking hand in hand. May he give you strength to stand till we meet again. Till we meet again. So until tomorrow, I hope that his peace stays with you, that her peace stays with you. And I love y'all deep. I mean it, okay? Enjoy the lounge, enjoy the Buy Black Market, enjoy communing with each other. We'll do this again for the last time for the Winter 2022 Summit, bright and early tomorrow. Peace. Bye.